Hello and welcome to PetXI Interactive, the home of GCSE revision on the go. Coming up in this maths burst, we'll be concentrating on frequency polygons. It is a topic that appears pretty regularly in the exam, and although it is an easy subject, people always get confused with it and lose easy marks in the exam. It isn't difficult, but it does need some concentration to make sure you get it right. I am in fact so confident how easy this maths is to teach that I'm going to show you in a race against Tom, who has bet me that his glamorous PetXI assistant can complete a challenge before I can get this maths across to you. Let's cross over to Tom and see what he's got planned.
For this challenge, Pete will be eating 3 raw onions before you can explain your maths to the students.
Well, I hope he doesn't have a date planned for this evening. So, a frequency polygon is a line graph that is used to represent group data. You have to be careful about where you plot the points though, as it is very easy to do this wrong and lose marks in an exam. What you'll need to do first is work out the midpoint of each group, as it's here where you need to plot the frequencies. This is how you do it. Take this question. Here is a chart showing the time taken for a football team to score the first goal in a match in minutes. As you can see, the left-hand column has a time recorded in 5 groups, ranging from 0 to 10 up to 40 to 50 minutes. What you need to do is work out a midpoint for each group. The easiest way to find a midpoint of 2 numbers is to add them together and then divide by 2. So the midpoint between 0 and 10 is 5, between 10 and 20 is 15, between 20 and 30 is 25, 30 and 40 is 35, and finally the midpoint between 40 and 50 is 45. Usually you will need to label both the x-axis and the y-axis. Just remember that frequency always goes on the y-axis. Fill in the timescale on the x-axis and try to include the midpoints in the scale if possible, although this is not essential. So on this graph you could write 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 and 50 along the x-axis. Now look at the frequency column in the table. You need to go up to the highest number, in this case 7. What I would do is write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 on the y-axis like this. Fabulous! We are getting on really well here. Let's find out how Pete is getting on with his onions.
Well, Dave, you should be worried because Pete is demolishing these onions like they're nothing. You better speed up, my friend.
I better get going. On we go. Now plot the frequencies in the table using your midpoint values. So the first point goes at the midpoint 5 on the x-axis and at 2 on the y-axis. Label it with a cross. The second point goes at 15 and 4, next at 25 and 7, then 35 and 1, and finally 45 and 3. Once the points are plotted, join them up with straight lines. Use a ruler. It's a bit like a dot to dot, and you will end up with a mountain effect that looks like this. So that's the maths completed, but has Tom managed to beat me? Let's cross back to the challenge to find out.
Well, Dave, Pete is looking a bit worse for wear here. In fact, and there really is no way of dressing this up, he looks terrible.
That really is not a nice sight. Thank you for watching. See you again in the next exciting instalment of PetXI Interactive Maths.